this video, I'm going to show you how you can quickly and easily visualize metadata for your flights using the Post-Test Explorer client application. So I'm on the Explore page here. I've selected a flight from my data archive. I've plotted some data. And now I want to look at some of the metadata associated with that flight. By metadata, I mean things like maybe test points that have been marked, event markers, bad data that's been marked, those sorts of things. And those elements are all accessible through this overlays drop down here on the left side of the plot. So I click that. I can see how to enable or disable these various types of metadata, event markers, custom events, test points. So I know my flight data here has a lot of test points defined for it, so I'm going to select test points. And so now all of these purple bars that have shown up now represent one test point each that have been marked in the data. And if I click on any one of them, I can select properties from the toolbar. And that'll give me some additional information about this specific test point. So the one I selected, it was a T4, it was a roll maneuver, this is the start and end time, and there's some other additional metadata about the test point shown in this dialog. I can do that with any of these test points. I can click one, properties, this one is an unknown, the frequency maneuver. Let's go over here. What do we have over here? It's a yaw rat maneuver. So there's different test points with different maneuvers shown throughout the entire flight. And I can select specific areas if I want to zoom in on specific ones. I can double click on a specific one so it'll zoom in exactly to the time range that that test point occurred at if I need to get a closer look at data that occurred during that test point. And so this shows you all of the test points for the entire flight. Now let's say I'm only interested in seeing a subset of those test points. Well, up here in the drop-downs, you can see that there are lists of test points, maneuvers, and events that you can select from. And this will let you filter these selections down to a subset of all of the test points. So for example, maybe I'm only interested in the T2 test points for this flight. If I select that, then the system will only highlight the test points that are defined as T2s over here. And if I select one and click on properties, you can see it's a T2 test point. Looks like this one was a wind-up turn maneuver. You click another one, properties, same sort of thing. I'll zoom in a little closer. You can see they're all T2s, they're labeled. Now I can switch back and forth between other test points as well. Maybe I want to see where all the T3s occurred. Well, the T3s occurred over here. I want to maybe zoom in on this one. I can double click on it, and that's exactly what happened during the T3 test point. Let's look at some other options here. We have maneuvers, so maybe I want to filter it down to just my climb maneuvers. Well, my climb maneuvers are over there. I'm going to check the frequency maneuvers. Now my frequency maneuvers are marked here. And I can repeat that process as often as I want. This is about finding specific marked areas in the flight data. Now this assumes, of course, that you have marked test points or custom events or event markers in your data. If you haven't done that, you can also do searches that are based on parameter conditions. So, for example, I'm looking at the angle of attack parameter, and I can see that this angle of attack parameter kind of hits high values, peaks around 23 if I just hover my mouse over the data. So maybe I want to look for all the times where this angle of attack parameter exceeded a certain value. So I can come up here to the search bar and I can type in AOA greater than 20. If I search for that, now the system's going to go through and search the entire flight and mark all of the instances where this condition was true. All of the instances in this case where the angle of attack parameter exceeded 20. And if I zoom in on any of these, I should be able to verify that by eye. If I hover over the data, I can see here's a mark where it happened. If I go and look at my angle of attack, it exceeded 20, it's 23.16. We'll look at this one over here, 21, so that qualifies. If I look at the peak of the AOA right here, it's only 15.7, so that one didn't get marked. So there's different ways to find events in the system. You can pre-mark them as test points, event markers, or other event types, or you can just do kind of a wide parameter search up here using the search tool to find various parameter conditions. And that's how you look for data on the Explore page of the Post-Test Explorer client application.